We're going to go through how to look at your daily tasks or the regularly scheduled cares that the participant will need for the day. Start by clicking on the face picture and it will bring up that Provide Services tab and we'll go to Daily Tasks. Now remember, daily tasks are things that are regularly scheduled that will happen every day for your participant. The purpose of this is to make your lives a lot easier throughout the day so you know exactly what needs to be done at what time. Keep this in mind when documenting. So it will have a time next to the task that it approximately needs to be completed by. It's okay if you don't complete it on the dot, as long as it was relatively around that same time that makes sense for your day. What's not okay is to leave all tasks unticked until the end of the day when you finally remember and go through and tick them all off at once, because what that will do is log all the tasks as being done at the time that you clicked them off, which is not appropriate documentation. It is NDIS auditing requirements that we need to be keeping as close as possible the accurate log of what you were actually doing throughout the day. It's also important for the medical health of your participants so we can see what was done, what wasn't done, and if there's anything that needs to be followed up on. So please remember to tick tasks off at the time that you do them, relatively around the time that they were scheduled for. Now, to go through how to use daily tasks, we'll start at the top with all of these filters. The date you'll see is auto-corrected to American dates. Unfortunately, we cannot change this format, so they will show backwards with the month and day. If you're not quite sure if that's correct, because it doesn't look right, just click on it. It will bring up a calendar and just click on the day that it is of today, which is the 11th of March. Unfortunately, we cannot change that. Next is your shift times. This is another thing that we can't change within the program. The shift times are set as this particular program is used for aged care settings mostly. So their regular shifts are 7 till 3:30, 3:30 till 11, and 11 till 6:45 in the morning. Please note that this shift time will not match the shift that you are allocated to. So if you're wanting to see the whole day, you can click on all shifts, or if you're wanting to see tasks that are due at a different time of the day, then just change the shift here. But it will auto-correct to whatever date and time your computer is set to. So if you want to look at all shifts, we'll look at all shifts. Now, care status, we can look at all statuses, so complete and incomplete and overdue, or we can just look at particular categories of what we need to have done. The automatic option is incomplete cares because it will show you what still needs to be done. But if you're interested in what has already been done before you arrived, or if you want to keep track of what you've already done throughout the day, you can change it to all statuses if you like, or complete cares to check what you've done, etc. So all statuses might be helpful. Now, care type, you can change the category here of what types of care you want to look at. So all of the cares are categorized into different options. We can look at vitals, dietary, etc. My advice is not to change this off all types, as you may miss important cares that need to be done through the day if you have the wrong filter type on. So just leave that one at all types. Once you've made all your selections, you can just hit go to bring up all of those changes. Now you will see that every participant will have a task of logging into ECP, logging into this program. Unfortunately, we cannot pull logs of the exact time you actually logged in. So the easiest way for us to do this is to get you guys to tick off this task. Logging into ECP should be the very first thing you do when you get to work. So when you log in, you come into daily tasks and you click off that you've logged into the system. It will lodge your signature, which is the first 2 letters of your first name and the first 2 letters of your last name, and the time that you logged it on, or the time that you clicked it off. So if you were supposed to log on at 7 a.m., I'm going to see that you didn't tick it until 3 o'clock, which is a big no-no. So please remember to do everything on time. That goes for all of your tasks. Everything is issued an approximate time of when it needs to be done. Now, it's okay if things are done slightly beforehand or slightly after the time they are allocated, as long as they're done relatively around that time and the time makes sense to what happened during their day. What's not okay is to leave all of these cares unticked until the end of the day when you remember and you go through and tick them all off at once. What that does is generate all of their cares being done at the same time of day, which doesn't make sense. It's an NDIS auditing requirement that all cares are logged at the time they were done, so we can show the work that we're doing for our participants when we're working out funding for them. It's also important for their medical and physical health to know what's being done at particular times. It helps us generate different care plans, initiate different care with allied health, or look into medical issues that might be occurring. So please, always document your tasks at the time or relatively around the time that they were issued for. Starting by logging into ECP at the start of your shift. And the very next thing you should be doing is reviewing notes for previous shifts or all the shifts in between your last one with this person to catch up on everything there is to know about them. So every task has instructions underneath it of what is required. So here, review the notes for previous shifts and ensure you've read through the registered nursing updates for the week, which happened on Mondays. So when you've completed that task, you can come over here and click it, and it will log itself in. Let's scroll down to something that is due. So if there is a task that has a question mark, it's going to ask a question before you're allowed to log it. So this one here, we've got choking risk at lunchtime. Describe any prompting or reminders to prevent choking. Maybe we instructed test resident to eat slowly. And just hit save. And it will log that you've signed that off. Okay. We can go through and see what else is due. So if there's a question mark, it will ask you a question. If there's a little stethoscope, it will ask you for some vital signs. Okay. So this one here is asking you to check blood sugars. So her blood sugar was 7.5 and we just hit save. Okay. Going through. Let's say we've got two dressing and she needs assistance and it's bedtime. She maybe is refusing your help to get dressed for bed. So what we do, instead of having this green issue one highlighted, we just come over here to the red one and click on not issued. So now that when we go through the log here to click it off, it's going to give us an option as to why it was not issued. So for this example, we'll say refused by resident. Are we going to attempt again? Yes or no? And hit save. Okay, it will come up with a caution as it was a failed attempt, but we are going to try it again. So it won't log it off for you at the moment because you're going to try again in the future. If it was something that was refused and you're not going to attempt it again, you hit save and it will log it as read, so not issued.